Hey guys, Jeremy here, with another enhancement guide, and in this guide I'll be explaining how to play Enhancement Shaman against the WWDK composition in 3s. For your talents, it depends on what you're playing. If you're playing a melee cleave, for example Turbo or Windwalker Enhance, you will probably play Capacitor Stun to stun out of a paralysis from a monk. You'll also be playing Wind Fury Totem when playing a melee cleave, and Sky Fury Totem when playing with a spellcaster. Both Trinket and Relentless are viable options depending on what you prefer and if you're an orc or not. Make sure you're playing with Static Cling for maximum single target pressure. The last talent to pick is Ethereal Form, which replaces your Astral Shift. This talent should only be used against Unholy Death Knights though, since Frost mostly consists of spell damage. Since Windwalker DK with an Unholy DK consists of mostly physical damage, Ethereal Form on a 45-second cooldown can reduce a lot of their damage. Windwalker DK will have constant pressure on either you or your team. In order to score a kill, you will have to pop your cooldowns together with your team and use your Capacitor Stun as a follow-up CC in this setup. This way your team can start a CC chain with Paralysis, for example, and you can follow up with Capacitor Totem after and burst while the enemy healer is in CC. In this clip, my monk lands Paralysis on the enemy healer, and we pop cooldowns with Bloodlust. I follow up with a Capacitor Stun on the enemy healer after. The DK then uses his Corpse Shield and my monk lands a double stun. When the DK comes out of the stun, he uses his AMS to stay alive. The enemy monk also is forced to use his Life Cocoon on DK to stabilize due to our pressure. The DK will be your target for the majority of the game. DKs are very squishy against Enhancement Shamans, and their lack of mobility means you can easily stay connected to them at all times, especially with Static Cling. In between cooldowns, your team can do a short CC chain when you have pressure. For example, when Capacitor Stun is on cooldown and you have some pressure, you can simply Wind Shear into perhaps a follow-up Paralysis, and this can very often force cooldowns or score a kill if you have some procs. In this clip, we have some pressure on the DK, and I land a Wind Shear on the enemy healer. My monk then follows up with a Paralysis after, and the DK drops to a very low health in this just very short setup. In this clip, my monk lands a double leg sweep onto both DPS, and he also lands a Paralysis on the enemy healer, before landing another double stun on the enemy DPS. I follow this up with a Capacitor Stun after the Paralysis on the enemy healer to finish the game. The DK uses AMS, but since Enhancement and Windwalker have a lot of physical damage, he simply dies through it. By doing good setups, the DK should die fairly easily to your Enhancement damage, especially when playing with another melee class such as Windwalker or Warrior, since DKs lack defensives to survive a heavy melee cleave. Make sure you use your Capacitor Totem as much as you can to set up good CC chains to finish the game as fast as possible. Windwalker DK usually grips the healer into a stun, or grip another DPS into their stuns to have the entire team in CC. Your team will need to rotate cooldowns on their setups to survive. If the enemy team trains you, Ethereal Form will take care of that, since it's only a short cooldown of 45 seconds and it's up for 12 seconds, as well as having the heal from it. Whilst Ethereal Form is on cooldown, your partners will either have to peel for you, or use a cooldown for you. Try and time your Ethereal Form for major cooldowns such as Touch of Death or Serenity from Monk, and the DK artifact Apocalypse. In this clip, the enemy team is about to do a setup. My healer tells me he will put Life Cocoon on me before the setup to avoid using any other cooldowns. My healer gets gripped in and he puts Life Cocoon on me. The enemy team then bursts into Life Cocoon so we can save other cooldowns for the next setup. In this clip, the enemy team is getting ready to do another setup. I see the DK uses his Soul Reaper ability on me. I use Ethereal Form and sit in it for their entire burst. And once my health is stable again, I leave Ethereal Form and pop Bloodlust and Doomhammered. Force AMS from the DK. In this clip, my ethereal form is still on cooldown, and Life Cocoon is still on cooldown for a couple of seconds. I am also caught into a full stun and start dropping low in health. Since this is really the only time I can die when both ethereal form and Life Cocoon are on cooldown, I use Sundering to knock the DK out of melee range before I can get re-stunned. Buying my hero just enough time to get Life Cocoon back. You can rotate through ethereal form and Life Cocoon on practically every setup, and this should be enough to survive. And make sure you communicate with your team on what cooldowns are available. If no cooldowns are available, you will have to try and kite and avoid the next setup until one cooldown from your team is available. A good way to do this is to track when the enemy team has stuns available. Since WWDK usually kills a player in a stun chain, tracking their cooldown on their stuns can help you determine if you should run or not. If they do have stuns available and your team has no cooldowns, you will have to kite and avoid being stunned for as long as possible to delay until you have a cooldown available. That's going to be it for this enhancement guide. Please leave a plus skill if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comments.